As usual, I'll start with a story that relates to today's topic. Grace makes spice blends, small batch seasoning blends, sold on her website and wholesale to specialty stores in her region. And as you can imagine, Grace's business is the blend, the exact combination of spices in those exact proportions. That recipe is the whole thing. It's why customers come back. It's the one thing that competitors can't just copy. Now picture a Friday afternoon. Grace's operations manager is trying to scale up a batch for a big new wholesale order. The math is a little bit fiddly, so wanting to be more efficient, he opens a free AI tool and pastes in the full recipe, every ingredient, every proportion, and asks it to recalculate the quantities for triple the batch. It works, he gets the answer in seconds, and can't help but thinking how helpful this AI tool is. And nothing bad happens. No alarm goes off, no one calls, but that recipe, the secret that is the entire business, is now out in the open. It can be on a server Grace doesn't control. It may be used to train a system Grace will never use maybe or see. And the worst part, this cannot be undone. There's no undo. And nobody did anything wrong, intentionally. Grace's ops manager wanted to be efficient. That's what makes this the scariest AI risk at all. We're not looking for the villains here. I mean, there may be some that want to leak the information on purpose, but there are many more that leak it by mistake, just by trying to do a good thing. And that's what we're talking about today. Some problems in business you can recover from, but some, like this one, you can't. Welcome to the Green Ledger, Tips for a Sustainable Small Business. I'm Anka, founder of 3P Impact Consulting. This season, we're answering your questions about building resilient, responsible businesses. Whether you're running a CPG brand, a food or beverage manufacturer, or a coffee shop, each episode tackles one question with practical, actionable answers you can use right away. Let's dive in. If you've been with me for this series, welcome to part 3, the last one. Here's what happened so far. Part 1, we decided if AI is even worth it for your business. Part 2, we found where in the business you can use it. And today, part 3, we protect it all because everything can backfire without this one. This is the episode I most needed to hear. It's also the one where we're gonna borrow a tool from how the big companies operate around AI. Stay with me. Let's start by labeling the threat correctly. When you think AI risk or data risk, you probably picture a hacker, someone in a hoodie, breaking in from the outside. Back in season 1, episode 5, we talked about exactly that. Cybersecurity, locking your digital doors, keeping outsiders out. That still matters, but it's not what we're talking about today. Today's risk isn't someone breaking in. It's already inside. It walks in through your own team. Your best people using a free tool, trying to save some time. There is no break-in because there's no lock. Nobody's being careless or malicious. They're just trying to be helpful. And that's exactly why this one slips past you. It doesn't look like a threat. It looks like good work. So the mindset shift for this episode is simple. The danger isn't a stranger. It's the gap between how helpful these tools are and how little anyone has told your team about using them safely. So, what's actually on the line? There are 3 specific things you'd better not lose. The first is your recipe, your formula, your process, whatever the secret sauce is for your business. For Grace, it was a blend. For you, might be a formulation, a method, a supplier. The moment that gets pasted into the wrong tool, to clean it up or scale it, you may have handed away the one thing competitors couldn't copy. The second is your customer list or your pricing. This can be just a single spreadsheet with who your best accounts are, what you charge each of them, your margins. Paste that into writing a summary or find patterns, and your relationships and your economics are suddenly somewhere you can control. And the third is your reputation. And back in episode 18, we talked about AI being wrong in a very confident voice and how to sanity check it. What we're talking about now is the wrong that doesn't just cost you a correction, it costs you a fine or the customer's trust. So if the AI generates something that says that your seasoning, boosts immunity, or drafts an ingredient line that's wrong on an allergen, the moment that this goes out on your label or your marketing under your name, it's not a mistake that you can fix. It's a false claim, and this is a regulatory problem and a trust problem, and both can cost you your reputation. Now, not all the AI tools and not all the versions of the same tool treat your information the same way. The free version most people use and the proper business version of that same tool can handle your data completely different. What they keep, where they use, what you type in to improve the system, how they train their AI, who can see it. So the same AI tool, they have different rules for these different plans. Paying for a personal plan usually isn't the same thing. That often just buys you a faster tool, maybe more space, more tokens. It's not a more private space. The business version has its own space, and so it's a separate plan that you need to be aware of. Most owners don't know that this distinction exists. So the team defaults to the free tool or maybe the personal one. I think now it's like $20 maybe. So again, that's not being safe. If you just pay for something, it's not the business secure version. This just becomes your exposure. I'm not going now over settings and tiers because this change. I'll put some guidance in the show notes though. The point for right now is just this: which tool your team uses and which version of it is a real decision with real consequences. And in most small businesses today, almost no one is making that decision from this perspective. So what do you do about it? I'll tell you what the Fortune 500 do, and maybe you can follow their example, because they've taken this seriously for a while now. Big companies have entire AI governance programs, committees, legal teams reviewing tools, monitoring software, watching what employees paste and where. Whole departments, large budgets, a lot of lawyers. You can't do that. You don't have the legal department or a budget for monitoring software. But if you strip all that down, all the committees and the software and the legal review, what these big companies are really doing comes down to a handful of simple rules. And that handful of rules fits on one single page. What your team is allowed to use AI for, what should never be pasted into it, which version of the tool to use, and what has to get a human check before it gets released. Now, I think I hear what you're just saying. Great, Anka. Rules. You want me to lock everything down and tell my team no? But this is not it. In season 1, episode 3, we talked about risk as a way to operate confidently by knowing where the real dangers are. The same idea here. A one-page policy isn't a wall. It fences off the small handful of things that are critical: the recipe, the customer list, the unchecked claim, so everyone can move safely across the territory that is left. Think about it this way. With no rules at all, a careful owner does one of two things. Either bans AI entirely and falls behind, or B, allows it and doesn't stop worrying. With 3 or 4 clear rules, you get to say yes to AI with confidence. The protection is what gives you that confidence. And that connects all the way back to episode 2, where we talked about continuity, building a business that can take a hit and keep going. A business that thought about the bad days in advance has more freedom in how it operates. This is the same for AI. Little protection now, so that one helpful mistake on a Friday afternoon can never take the whole thing down. And to make this super easy, I've put together a one-page AI usage policy template that I just mentioned. It's not a legal document, it's a fill-in-the-blanks page sized for a small business. You can sit down with it and have your rules written in about 20 minutes. It's free. Email me if you want it. I'll put my email in the show notes. We're close to the end now, and as usual, here are 3 action items for you. First one is ask your team, plainly, no blame, what AI tools they're using and what they've been pasting into these tools. We did an inventory in part 1, so episode 17, but this is done through a safety lens. You can protect what you can't see. Second action, create your never paste this in list. The 1, 2, or 3 things that should never go into a tool like that. Recipe, customer list, financials, you decide. And 3, fill in the one-page template that you get from me. 3 or 4 rules, that's it. You'll have done in one afternoon the thing that big companies pay whole teams to do. And that closes the AI series. There are 3 episodes, one idea running through all of them. Be intentional if you want to use AI instead of drifting into it by accident. Start with the boring, valuable work instead of chasing the shiny thing, and protect the few critical things so you can say yes to everything else. Here's the picture I'll leave you with. AI is a power tool, and the power tool is a wonderful thing. It lets a small team do what used to take a big team. But every power tool has a guard on the blade that is there not to slow you down. It's there so that you can keep all your fingers while you work fast. These 3 episodes were about putting that guard on the blade so you can use it safely. And that's the whole idea, not just surviving AI, but using it to get stronger, which, right, is what this show is all about. Thank you for listening to The Green Ledger. If today's episode sparked a question for you, something you're dealing with in your business, send it to me. My email is in the show notes. Your question could become the next episode and help dozens of other business owners navigating the same challenge. If you want more tools and resources for building business resilience, sign up for my email list on my website. A link is in the show notes. And if you found this episode helpful, share it with another small business owner who needs to hear it. Until next time, remember, small steps lead to big impact, and resilience isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. Bye.